just going back to the liquidation, because I know I didn't really cover that, but during this whole refurb, I was liquidating. So I was learning how to potentially liquidate the company, and so
you're selling off the ovens and you're selling off the...
Yeah, there was a lot of complications with that, and you know, I didn't realise you have to pay for a liquidation. So I had to raise the money, and obviously I have my staff that I couldn't pay. I paid them out of my pocket at the end of November, and then come December, because I tried to sell it, and that actually then flopped. So I then just decided, right, I'm going to have to liquidate now. If you've never been through a liquidation, how do you know what that process is? So my staff were obviously waiting for their pay at the end of December. They didn't get it because I couldn't raise the funds to A, pay them, and B, liquidate. So they couldn't start the process of trying to extract the money that they were owed through that liquidation process. And I actually thought I was going to go to prison at one point, because I think when you're mentally in that place, you think the worst case scenario. And I thought that I was committing fraud, I was going to go to prison. Obviously this wasn't happening, this was all in my mind. And my liquidators couldn't advise me so much, because I was trying to sell off assets to pay off creditors, if anyone knows what liquidation looks like. But if you prefer a creditor, then you can get in big trouble. And I actually sold off some of the equipment to my landlord to potentially pay off some equipment that was personally guarantored by a member of my family. And I thought I was going to go to prison for that.
Yeah, and we spoke outside this interview a while ago about how difficult that time was, because I remember you saying that your staff, the way that your staff made you feel, because you couldn't pay them and they were looking at you like this nasty...
They took me to tribunal.
This nasty business owner that was purposely trying to rip them off. Yeah. So they took you to the tribunal?
One of them took me to the tribunal, yeah.
God, how was that process? This is on top of all the other the other issues. Yeah. Last thing you needed.
Yeah, it's just one thing after another. And again, at that moment, I was like, I'm going to prison. So not only have I committed fraud, I'm going to prison because I haven't paid my staff. Again, obviously, all in my mind.
Catastrophizing a little bit.
All in my mind. But luckily for me, because I'd liquidated, there was no case. So they let it go to tribunal. She won because, you know, I owed her the money. I did. The business owed her the money. And then it just took her back into that liquidation process where she should be claiming through the liquidation. But yeah, that was just another thing to add to the things stacking up, yeah.
So now, I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're now looking back, you're in a much better place now, obviously we'll get into that. But you must have learned so much from that. Like, you've been through a business, you've started a business, you've experienced some success initially, and then it started to drop off, probably mostly to do with COVID, wasn't your fault. And then you've experienced all the downs and all of the issues that come along with that, and going through a liquidation, which is massive. And that can bring down families and, you know, serial business owners. I mean, my father went through that. I know the pain that can bring. So would you say that has kind of gone towards creating, you know, who you are today, this strong, you know, successful woman with the drive and the determination? Obviously you had that anyway, but do you think that that's made you a much stronger person now?
Yeah, definitely. And it's allowed me to deal with things a lot better. I mean, back then I said I'd never hire staff after that horrible experience. But now at the other side of it, I'm like, I've just got to realise that not everybody is like that, and that people act in certain ways because of fear. And I don't blame my staff for being scared and acting in a way that they did now, because now I understand probably how to manage that emotion, because I've come out the other side, and I would deal with it a lot better. But I had to go through all of that to get to this point, and to learn from those experiences, and definitely, yeah, be a better person, be a better business owner, and a better person, like all in all.